Hey guys, it's Fred. I'm coming at you with another one of these TBI report so-called statements. As I finished up on that last video, it hit me that this very well could be information right out of Mike Elam's book, a chapter of his book. So just because it's in the TBI file doesn't mean that it's from back in 1967. It could be something that was told a year ago, 5 years ago to Mike Elam, and then the TBI has put it in their new case file and added it to this. Now, Dennis Hathcock is still alive. They very well could have talked to him recently also. But what we wanted to see, the sad thing about this investigation, and I've asked for it from the beginning, I said, what we need to see is the files from 1967. We don't need modern day witnesses. There are no modern day witnesses. Whatever they witnessed, they would have been in the report back in 1967. They would have been interviewed then. It was fresh on their mind and more than likely would have been closer to the truth. You can't come up 58 years later and get your report from a book or from a person that's 70 years old or more from what happened at that time. Dennis Hathcock said that he was a teenager. He and his friend, Johnny Harrison, followed Buford around town in McNairy County for fun. For fun? You're following the sheriff around for fun? Your aunt has been killed just a few months prior by the sheriff, and you're following him around for no reason, just for fun. Hathcock said he grew up with Ann Henderson, and they were close friends, like brothers and sisters, and they still remain friends to this day. Hathcock advised that he knew for a fact that Ann Henderson was having an affair with Buford, in a relationship with Buford prior to August the 12th, 1967. Hathcock described that on one night, August the 11th, 1967, going into August 12th, he and Johnny Harrison were teenagers and that they had been out following Buford. Now, we got that. Now, my question is, was this statement given in 1967, or was it just recently given to the TBI that put it in this report? Or did they copy it from Mike Elam's book? Hathcock commented that he knew where Buford and Ann Henderson would meet and that he knew Buford's routine. Boy, he knew Buford's routine. Then isn't it funny that he's followed him all night? He knows his routine, but he didn't think to follow him back out there when he was ambushed. He didn't stake out the house and wait for him to get back out and go on another call. He decided to go on home that night, I guess, after he knows his whole routine and he knows what he does, but he just happened to go home before. Too bad he wasn't out there on that road where he could have witnessed some of this going on. Too bad he wasn't following Buford around then, and he could tell who was in that blue Cadillac. Hathcock elaborated that in the early morning hours of August the 12th, 1967, about approximately 12:30 a.m., he and Johnny Harrison drove out to the State Highway Department rock pile near Eastview and Highway 57, and they got up on a rock pile overlooking a street light near the garage where they couldn't be seen. Now, they couldn't be seen, but I'll bet you they could see somebody. Hathcock described seeing Buford, backed in under the streetlight when Ann Henderson pulled up near Buford in her vehicle. Hathcock reported that he overheard Buford tell Ann to get the blank out of there. Why? Why would he tell her to get out of there when they're on a rendezvous? They're going to meet. Buford's sitting there waiting on. He must be waiting. He must have him another one. He must be waiting on the black lady that they talk about in another chapter. He must be waiting on her, and this one here just happens to show up, I'll bet. That's what it is. Hathcock stated that he and Johnny Harrison followed Buford as he drove to where Ann Henderson's was living on Pine Street in Sumner. Well, he tells her to get out of here. She's going to meet with him. He tells her to get out of here, and now he followed her home. Now, he didn't notice them following him. Hathcock explained that he and Johnny Harrison drove up onto the hill of the cemetery across from where Ann Henderson lived so they could watch and see what was going on. Boy, this is a couple of peeping Toms right here, guys. This is a couple of weirdos, in my opinion. Hathcock or a couple of people that's up to no good. Now, they could have been up to no good, you know? Who knows? Like I said, the TBI got so sidetracked. The TBIs, they got so sidetracked and pointed in the opposite direction of where they should have been looking at Hathcock and P.D. Plunk. And my Lord, this case could still be solved. Incredible. Hathcock described watching Buford go around to the side of Ann Henderson's house, banging on the door and telling her to let him inside. Now, let's get this straight. They're rendezvousing at the old garage on the side of a pile of gravel. She shows up, and he says, get out of here. She leaves, and he follows her. They go to the house where they're going to rendezvous there, but wait a minute. He's banging on the house, beating on the door. Let me in. And telling her to let him inside. Hathcock claimed that Ann Henderson came outside and that he observed Buford grab Henderson and she managed to get away from Buford and run back inside of her house. Now, they're supposed to have a rendezvous. They're supposed to be having this big affair that he says they're having. She comes out to meet him. He runs her off, follows her home. She won't let him in the house. He's beating on doors. She comes outside. He grabs her. Now she's gone back inside and locked him out. You know, guys, it's funny. We got an interesting interview coming up here pretty soon. We got an interesting interview coming up with a family member, maybe two family members. And asked them the other day, did you ever hear your dad or your mom or anybody growing up ever say that Buford ever at any point was abusive towards your dad or mom or towards Pauline? The answer was never. Never. Never as much as raised his voice, a gentle giant. Listen here, he's beating on the door. He's trying to get in. Now he's rough handling her, grabs her. She manages to get away. 6'6", 300 pounds, but daggone if she didn't get away from him. Run back inside the house. Hathcock reported that he and Johnny Harrison watched Pusser as he got back in his vehicle, and that he squealed out and drove back towards Adamsville, and that was around 2:30 a.m. on August the 12th. Guys, once again, believe what you want. IR 259, page 9. Confidential file. I can see why it's confidential. Who would want anybody to see this garbage? Who would want anybody to see their whatever this is? See, this doesn't tell you if it's a file from 1969. It wants to imply that because it says here on August 11th, 1967, going into August 12th, 67. But it don't have a date on here. It wants you to believe that it's happening then. And I did believe that on the first couple that I read, and then it hit me. I'm reading Mike Elam's book. I'm reading a chapter from his book and just didn't know it because they've took this page out and put it into their report as if it's something they're reporting on. Sad. I don't know if TBI will ever recover. I know there's some good agents. I know there's some good police officers, investigators in that. They have to be. Everybody can't be like this, and everybody can't be like the director. They just can't be. The organization couldn't be functionable. It couldn't function without. Surely there's some good ones there. The good ones better start standing up, because if you don't, you're going to look just like this bunch here, in my opinion. Just my opinion, guys. I give my opinion. I speculate in these videos, narrate, speculate, hallucinate. I better watch. And I don't hallucinate, and I don't have dementia, so I can't even joke anymore about different things, and took the fun out of making my videos. But I got to watch what I say, because some people take you serious. If you see any mistakes I made, guys, or if you see anything I missed, help me out here. We're all in this together. We're all after the truth, or most of us. The ones that's on my videos, they want the truth. They're here for the truth. Sometimes you get somebody on there just wanting to make a comment, but I delete them and block them. I don't want the hard feelings. I don't want to argue. All I want to do is know the facts. Now, we finally got the TBI file made public. We're finally getting to look at a little bit of it, but we're wondering if it's back in 1967 or if it's 2025. It's so confusing and so deceitful. How hard would it have been to put agents' names and dates? Oh, man. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.